As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome, everyone, to the Crunch Time Sports pregame show for the Detroit Lions. They're taking on the Seattle Seahawks.
Let's go, baby.
On prime time. And we are live. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you could, drop a comment, say what up, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe. We're only about 400 away from 10,000, Booner, but it is a great day. Lions are on prime time playing the Seahawks, a team that has gotten them, the best of them, over the last couple of years. And today, all day, really, we're going to be covering it with our pregame show, our watch party, which will follow the pregame show, and then after that, postgame show. So we'll be live pretty much now till what, midnight, you'd say? I mean, we'll be up late.
1 a.m. We're here all night.
We're going.
We're here all night.
We're going. And there's a lot to get to. Welcome, everybody. Again, Booner, to start off, we're drinking some Real American beer.
Cheers,
big shout
baby.
out to those guys.
Shout out Real
We
American.
got the display. We got the Kool-Aid. We got the RAB. You can get it anywhere near you as well.
Tasty.
But boom. The Detroit Lions, 4.5 point favorites against the Seahawks.
Yes, sir.
This week at home. Calvin Johnson, Megatron, Ring of Honor night. You can't lose. You can't lose when you're honoring one of the greatest wide receivers. It just can't happen.
It's a massive night in Detroit.
It's just, you can't.
Monday Night Football. See, I think they purposely did this because of the Lions, like the past with Seattle. They're like, all right, let's do the black uniforms. Let's get Calvin Johnson in the house. We're honoring him. There's like 90 former Detroit Lions in the house tonight. There's like the stage is set for the Detroit Lions.
Story's written.
It is like they set it up to where, hey, I know you've lost to Seattle this many times. You haven't beat Seattle, in like 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
None of that matters. We're going to set it up for you. Prime time, what is it, ABC or ESPN, whatever it is, whatever channel they're on. Calvin Johnson's in the house. Guys, Detroit is probably rocking downtown right now. We've got videos from, we've Klotzy's down there, Gentry's down there. We've got guys beat on the ground in downtown Detroit. We'll show you guys some videos in a little bit. It's ready to roll, though. Well, I cannot wait. I think this is hey, Jeff, this right here, the Kool-Aid, this will be drinking tonight. I will be drinking. The Detroit Lions are coming out with the victory tonight. I cannot wait for it.
Well, they've lost the last 6 straight against the Seattle Seahawks. Most recently,
6 straight.
Most recently happened September 17th, 2023. That was an overtime. That was the 37-31 loss.
Brutal.
The Lions, the Seahawks came into Ford Field. Geno Smith, that offense, they ran all over the Detroit Lions. This time it's different. And we're going to get into a lot of those storylines. The Lions' run defense, different. This team, different. They're much improved. One of the best rosters in the NFL. And speaking of Rashad Penny running all over the Lions, one thing the Lions, of many things they pride themselves on, is their run defense. They haven't given up a 100-yard rusher. I believe the last time was against the Carolina Panthers, which was a while ago. We know one thing. And in a lot of the NFL, you can't really – it's hard to predict things in the NFL. That's why it's the best sports league, the best sport in the United States. But one thing you can't predict is the Detroit Lions run defense. You can bet all the unders for the Seattle Seahawks running backs.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing a great job stopping the run. That is one thing you look at and you're like, okay, even without Marcus Davenport, who they have, you're missing an edge. Ali McNeil, we'll see how that trends. Not sure if you've seen anything yet with him. But Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, who they picked up, this Lions run defense, Anzalone, it starts also with the linebackers he'll be playing. That's one thing of many things I'm excited for, but probably one of the bigger storylines this game is how can the Seattle Seahawks now, with missing the right tackle, run the ball effectively against one of the best run defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean the run defense for the Detroit Lions has been one of the best in the entire NFL. The thing with that though is this is a good rush. Like you have Kenneth Walker you're going up against. Zach Charbonnet, like these guys have been very, very good running backs. Zach Charbonnet has been extremely good for the Detroit Lions, or not for the Detroit Lions, for the Seattle Seahawks while K9 has been out. So, this is going to be a challenge. Are you worried about the challenge? Not worried about this challenge at all. I trust DJ Reader in the middle, Ali McNeil, the guys on the outside there with Hutch. Obviously, you don't have Marcus Davenport anymore. I trust Levi O now.
Yeah.
You got Alex Anzalone back, Jack. this run defense is one of the best in the NFL, hands down. I think obviously the biggest thing with this game, what does the secondary do?
Absolutely.
Like the DK Metcalf, those types of guys, can you stop them? Tyler Lockett, JSN. Like there are guys out there where they could have big games. They have 3 receivers that can just have massive games. Can you hold them? And are you going to slow those guys down? Because we already know the run game is going to do it. I'm interested to see what AG does with this whole thing, though. I really am interested.
Well, I have the inactive list. The Lions already put this out. Brian Branch, inactive. Giovanni Manu, terrible. Inactive. Frank Ragnow, inactive. Isaiah Williams, inactive. So the Frank Ragnow, we already knew that. We knew that because of what Dan talked about. He wanted to play. Dude is a psycho for all good reasons, and they did the right thing by holding him out this week. Brian Branch was kind of late to the party. You saw the news, him dealing with an illness. He's out for tonight's game. Tough loss for the Lions for this particular game because of his versatility, how much he's meant to this defense. And you don't have Iffy at this point. Iffy Melifonwu, who's a very good safety. He's on IR. So Brandon Joseph will be getting more run today. And that's secondary to you nailed it, Boone. That's going to be something that I think all Lions fans will be looking at, given the trio of wide receivers, Noah Fant, who hasn't really been involved much in their offense, but Geno Smith, who, again, say what you want about the guy, the last 2 years in the offense that he's been in, no matter who's the head coach, guy can sling it. Now, there's other things we'll break down when we talk more about the defense and what they can do, forcing turnovers, winning the turnover battle. But I really want to start with a conversation that we didn't really talk about on our show, but I do think it's necessary. Just the magnitude of this game specifically. Now that you see what's happening, the Vikings just beat the Packers. Packers made a run late. They couldn't do it. Vikings moved to 4-0. They're undefeated. And you look around in the NFC. What does this game mean? I hate using the word must win early in the season, but Booner, you can't deny the importance of this game, especially with the Seahawks also being undefeated.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. No, we really didn't talk about it all week.
No,
but you're sitting here with the Seahawks being 3-0. You're 2-1. And this is like a massive game. If the Lions dropped this, and I know I saw someone in the chat had mentioned I can't remember who it was. It might have been Mike Payton or someone had brought up. It's really, if you lose this game, it's really not that big of a deal. No, this is an NFC opponent who's 3-0, off to a good start. I don't care who they played. They're probably going to be in contention for a playoff spot.
Right.
And they're going to be in contention there fighting at the end of the season to get a spot. And when you're looking at seeding, whether, you win the North or you're in the wild card, you're looking at the seeding. You're like, hey, we need to get a home field. You want to, these NFC games are big time, especially up against other playoff teams. So you look at that, you lose this game. All right, Seattle has a tiebreaker over you if that happens. You look at what is happening in Minnesota right now. They're sitting at 4-0 right now. And you're like, all right, we need to win game. We can't fall 2 games behind in the NFC North like that. Like the Minnesota Vikings right now, I'm a betting guy. They're already right now, they're favorites to win the NFC North right now. Fun fact.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings are the favorite to win the NFC North in Vegas right now. So, you can go get the Lions and get that, but you have to go out there and win this game tonight. I think it's a little bigger than what we think. I do think this, though, and this is something where I'm starting to turn my head. A lot of people, Jeff, and we've been some of us on our show, even I know there's negative things that have happened over the last 3 weeks. If you just win the football game, Jeff,
yeah,
this is the NFL.
Doesn't have to be.
I don't care if Jared Goff throws for 150 yards. We're gonna have the conversation. Listen, if you're just winning games, look at around the NFL what's going on right now. There are so many teams who are like the Chiefs. Great example, the Kansas City Chiefs going on right now. Did you listen to Patrick Mahomes' postgame speech yesterday?
I did not.
He had a press conference and they asked him hey, there are some things you're struggling, and Patrick Mahomes. Listen, we will figure this out by the end of the year. They're only winning 1 possession games. Sometimes Patrick Mahomes isn't playing well. Travis Kelce wasn't playing well. Sometimes the defense, there's all these different things that's going wrong with their team. But guess what they're doing? They're 4-0 and they're just finding a way to win the football game.
Right.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. It's just go win a football game. So we can criticize Jared Goff and some parts of the defense a second. If they're coming out and they're 3-1 tonight, I'm sitting back and this is still a top 5 team in the NFL. By the end of the season, they're going to figure this thing out. But I do look at tonight. It's not a divisional, but a conference matchup that you have to go win this game. So,
Yeah,
like, as long as you come away with it could be a 1-point game, Jeff, for all I care. Just win the game.
Yeah, it all counts the same. I mean, I think the NFL, no fun league. It's also a no forgiveness league. It does not matter. It does not care about your problems. I mean, the Vikings, say what you want about Sam Darnold. Never been a huge Sam Darnold believer, but that team is playing well. I mean, they have, at least in terms of defensive coordinators, have a hell of a DC. The Vikings are playing great ball right now. And Kevin O'Connell's earned a lot of my respect, even more than I had previously. But this game is important. You can't deny it for a lot of reasons, right? You start with the rivalry. The Seahawks have beat you the last 6 times. They're undefeated. I don't care if they've faced cakewalk opponents or bad opponents, which is true, but they're still good. Now, here's the other part of it. You got to get the monkey off your back. You got to defeat the Seahawks. Calvin Johnson Ring of Honor night. So far this season, you're 1-1 at home. You got the home crowd, black uniforms. It's going to be electric out there. On top of that, the Seahawks have injuries. They do. And not just injuries, like important injuries. And I'll go through and I'll show this for you guys because the Seahawks put this out. They have their linebacker Nwosu out, Jerome Baker, another linebacker. Now, here's where it gets – Joe Baker's not a bad player, but here's where it gets very, very interesting. Boye Mafe.
Yes. Wow.
Who, when we brought up the NFL, top of the NFL in pressures, Boye's up there. Boye Mafe out of Minnesota. He's out. I don't know. Luame?
Killed it.
Laume?
You're killing it.
Whatever. How
You're killing it.
Satatoa? Whatever. How you pronounce his name. Don't exactly know who that is, the guard. Michael Gerald, he's inactive. Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams. Those 3. Boye, Byron, Leonard. Those 3 guys, 3 starters on their defensive line. 3 integral guys to getting after the quarterback. What they do. Very, very important. Now, this is why I wanted to bring it up, because you don't have Frank Ragnow, but the Seahawks don't have 3 of their best defensive linemen. So this is an opportunity for the Lions. And we're not talking about, they should go dominate. They should be able to run the ball effectively. They should be able to protect Jared effectively, even without Frank. I know with Graham moving to center and you're going to have a filler at guard. Doesn't matter. 3 of their guys who I think are all on top 10, top 15 NFL pressure leaders. 3 of those guys.
3 of the top 15, which is
insane.
ridiculous.
The Lions have the advantage in the trenches, especially offensively. We'll get to Aiden facing a backup tackle later. But they have, the ball's in their court to go out there and dominate. And we'll talk more about what we expect out of this offense, but boom, they should run all over the Seahawks.
Honestly, at the end of the day,
Patriots did it, and they have 3 defensive linemen out today. Lions should definitely do it.
190 yards, the Patriots did. 100% they should. And I did see a lot of people were saying maybe the Lions are going to struggle a little bit because no Frank Ragnow. I've been hearing that around the city. They're missing their 3 best defensive linemen today. 3 of their top defensive linemen are out. Imagine if obviously Marcus Davenport's out. Imagine if you take out Aiden Hutchinson on this defensive line. You're like, hey, maybe we're going to struggle in the run game a little bit. Or you take DJ Reader and Hutch out. Yeah, the run game's going to take a hit, or run defense is going to take a hit a little bit. So, they should be able to pound the rock. And that's where, for me, a little bit, remember last week with Ben Johnson, one of the issues in Arizona was you established the run early in the first half. And then you tried to go away from it a little bit. And I did go look at the play calls, and they were still a little even from what they were. But you're up, 2 possessions. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Today, you're at home. I don't care if Frank Ragnow's out. Graham's played center enough in his career that he's able to step over and step in. You have guys who have played. It's probably Yodi who's stepping in, I'm guessing, at guard as well. Yodi started an NFC Championship game. He has the experience. So Yodi steps in, or whoever it is. You should be able to pound the rock with this. You have Penei Sewell still. You have Kevin Zeitler still. You still have Taylor Decker. You still have Graham. You still have 4 of your 5 top offensive linemen. You should be able to go in there, and you have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Go pound the rock. That's what Ben Johnson should really hey, let's go out there and just play gritty football today. Let's go control the clock, pound the rock, and just go out there and win this football game. No, you don't get into a pass game with Geno Smith and those wide receivers. Go control the time of possession.
Yeah, because you know what this Seahawks secondary wants to do. One of the best secondaries in the NFL, especially on paper. They have got, like, even the young guy, Devon Witherspoon, one of the best slot corners in the league. They want you to throw the ball a lot. They want their opportunities.
Yes.
And even though if Jared does drop back, obviously having, the Seahawks missing 3 guys in the top 15 for NFL in the NFL in pressures. How do you make this secondary? How do you make them have a bad day? You run the ball and make them tackle.
Yes.
Just make them tackle. They want to stand back there, have Jared drop back 40, 50 times. You have David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, two of the best running back duos in the NFL. And you have this offensive line, even without Frank, still very, very good. And I don't want to underestimate Frank's a very important piece. We understand this. But even last year, Frank was out against the Raiders. Jahmyr had how many
Monday Night Football?
And again, you could bring, Jeff, the Chicago Bears, he was out, and they didn't look good. Well, yeah, Chicago's defense is very good. Seahawks defense, pretty good. They're missing 3 important starters, so I think it'll affect them. They ran the ball well against the Raiders. You go this year, they have 3 defensive linemen out. Obviously, Mike McDonald, very good, very smart defensive mind. It's going to be a battle, him and Ben Johnson. But I'm with you. They should be able to run the ball. I think Jahmyr, especially today, outside zone, he's a guy that I think can make a big, big impact. We know what Dave Montgomery's going to do, but Jahmyr, his home run hitting speed, between the tackle guy and Dave Montgomery, it's going to be a problem for the Seahawks.
It is. And Weezy D here, 313 said, we should be able to run the ball and run the pass. This is not Michigan. Listen, yeah, you should be able to do both, and they will do both. Like, the Lions can do both. Like, Jared's not a scrub as much as some people think he is right now. He's not.
Yeah.
You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, J-Mo. Like, you have the weapons. Tim Patrick's now coming along.
He is.
It's not that hey, we can't throw the ball. But establish your identity early in the game, and what's working, stick with it. That was the problem in Arizona, is you're sitting there and you establish the run, and then say, oh, you can finish the game right now running the ball. And Ben, I don't know if Ben straight up said it, but he was like, yeah, we tried some things, and some of them just didn't go our way. Like, we missed a couple blocks or we missed a couple plays, and they went away from what they were doing in the first half. So, yeah, all I'm saying is establish the run. Like, go out there and pound the rock. Go get 200 rushing yards on this team tonight, and you're still going to pass the ball. Like, if you get 200 rushing yards, I said it, what was it? Was it last week, actually, or 2 weeks ago, when I said they need to go get 200 rushing yards between those two guys, and they got over 200 all-purpose yards. That's what it is. You need D-Mont and Jahmyr tonight to have a big game. Amon-Ra is going to always do his thing. Sam Laporta is going to be open a couple times. You're going to find these guys, but to be able to open those guys up with the offense that you have, that is all it comes down to. Like, the play action, especially, hey, one of the biggest things, I said this a lot. Like, I said this last year when Frank was out. I listened to the interview with Frank talking about what he does for this team. Him in the pass game, protections, all of that different thing. Like, that's something that, like, Graham probably can do that. That's something that Frank is the best in the league at. Like, yeah, I think Graham is good, but there is a difference between the best in the league at your position and a guy who's just, you can handle it. And, like, Frank calling out the different blitz packages, different things that he's seeing there in pass plays.
Yeah,
that I think is something to keep an eye on. And we've seen the last couple of weeks Jared Goff take some sacks or having to rush around a little bit and get a little bit more mobile because the pressure that's coming in. So, like, without Frank, I would think the pass game a little bit more. You might see Goff under pressure a little bit more because of that. And a different guy, whether it's Yodi in there, like, you might see something different than you're not. Like, Goff's going to have to make some plays in some moments tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know the Goff thing. We talked a lot about it this week, and just just his season so far. And I think it's very fair to say quarterback play in the league in general is down except for a couple of guys. I mean, Josh Allen, even though he lost yesterday, still playing very well. But for the most part, guys that you expect to go out there and play well, not everyone's playing well. It's like a weird year. Now, the Lions offense has taken some time to kind of get back into what they were. I think the interesting part, or the reality, I guess, this offense is out. Like, Ben's been top of the league. Now everyone has tape. Everyone's grinding tape this offseason. This guy's been an OC now, 2 years? So now there has to be an adjustment period for Ben Johnson. And you saw the trick play, the hook and ladder last game against the Cardinals. They just got to find new ways to not only get back to what they know and what they're good at, which is running the ball, establishing play action, having Jared, who's one of the best quarterbacks in play action, drop back, make plays, pick apart this defense. But on top of that, find new ways to be creative, which Ben's very good at. So this defense, again, even and the Frank Ragnow injury is significant, but I think obviously what helps is missing 3 guys on the opponent's defense.
That's where I think people are forgetting a little bit.
Yeah, like that's like to your point earlier. That's like losing Aiden. That's like losing Aiden, Aleem, and like DJ Reader for a game. It makes like no sense.
I
mean, like that's significant
all week long, and we've talked about it. We've been putting out there that these guys are questionable all week, not practicing. I've listened around the city. There's so many people who are like, I don't know if the Lions will be able to run on this defensive line. Goff's gonna. Do they not look at do people not look at the injury report anymore?
Yeah,
they should be able to. I don't care. Like, Frank Ragnow. I think Frank's the second, third best player on this football team. He's right up there. But guys, they're missing 3 of their top defensive linemen.
Significant,
you should
man.
Be some of the best in the league. It's not like it's just like a random D line. No, they're missing some of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. We should be able to pound the rock on these guys and run for 200 yards. Demont should be able to have 75 yards. Gibbs should be able to have 100 all-purpose yards. Like, these guys should be able to go out there and dominate. And Jared Goff, listen, those 3 guys out there, I know I said there might be a little bit more pressure on Goff. Goff should be able to sit in the pocket pretty nice tonight at times. Like, he should be able to have a comfortable pocket at times to be able to make throws and make the right decision. So, like, turnovers, hopefully they're down. But, guys, I think this offense should be able to get back on track.
Yeah,
they should.
And I'm not too concerned. I mean, I think for an offense that's proven it's top 5 in the league, if not higher, I mean, they will get back to what they know.
Yes.
The good thing is you have your weapons majority healthy. I know Sam Laporta was dealing with an ankle injury. I think he's interesting because Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know what they're going to focus on. Bracket coverage. You have Devon Witherspoon. Maybe they just let him work. Him and Amon-Ra just kind of battle all game. That'll be a matchup to watch. But then you have guys like J-Mo. And you have Sam Laporta, who's even hobbling a little bit. But it's still Sam, who's been, quieter than I expected. Like last week, he made some plays. He made a big catch. And then, he got a little banged up. Second game, he didn't really do much. The first game, he got like 40 yards. It's just it's this offense, and they're learning how to fit all these pieces with Jameson emerging. But now you don't have to. Remember last year, every week it was Amon-Ra or Laporta.
Yes, and
then you'd have Josh Reynolds kind of sprinkling some yards here or there. Now this is Amon-Ra. Well, Amon-Ra struggling. Well, now you have J-Mo. Like now tonight, it's like who's covering J-Mo? Reek Wolin? Like that's a matchup that every week you got to look at. All right, whose game is it going to be? Man, I think this week it's a hell of an opportunity, especially with Devon Witherspoon and Amon-Ra. Like Amon-Ra will still be somewhat productive. I'd be shocked if he has this massive game. I'm looking at Laporta and J-Mo. Which one of those guys? I think Laporta. If Laporta can move a little bit, I don't see anyone on this defense they can't cover him.
No, in the middle of the field, like he's going to. They don't have. There's no way Sam Laporta. I think Sam Laporta has a good game tonight. I really do. Last week I had like 30-something. I think he has a decent game tonight. I want to see a bounce back Sam Laporta game. I am interested in the J-Mo thing because like Ben Johnson this week in the press conference, he brought up and he called it the J-Mo effect or Jameson Williams effect.
Let me just crack a beer.
To where, let's hear it. I put it. Woo! Cheers, brother. Cheers. Real American
I drank
beer.
it before I cheers. Hey, yep, shout out Real American beer. All right, sorry to interrupt you, but
so the thing with J-Mo with me though, the J-Mo effect, it's like Ben's like it's real. Like it took us after the week 1 because week 1 what he did was unbelievable, and then you start seeing defenses. He said the safeties start coming over. They start shadowing everything over this way because the J-Mo's over there, and that's why the next 2 weeks Amon-Ra St. Brown goes off. So you get into a defense with a secondary like this, and Mike McDonald, he's one of the best in the league. All right, how is he going to approach this game? And that's where I get like I don't know, and it's hard to be able to tell like. How is a guy like Mike McDonald do this? Because, all right, he brings someone over to help with J-Mo over the top and say, all right, Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta. You're going to find a way to scheme them open. Okay, now you try and take Amon-Ra away with, Devon Witherspoon or these guys. Like, you're going to try and help them out. And then J-Mo's going to be open. And then you have Gibbs out of the backfield. And Demont's been, by the way, too, Demont's been very good out of the backfield in the past game.
No, like, unbelievable.
Like, last year, he wasn't doing that. And you know what? I credit a little bit. We were at training camp. And I remember David Montgomery, he had a clip And he said, one thing I did this year is there were 2 reasons I did it. I slimmed down a little bit and I got in better shape and I got a little shiftier. 1, obviously he wants to be able to be more versatile, be able to go on the pass game, do different things. And 2, he was like, I want to be able to play longer in the season. I don't want to have these injuries that we had last year. He wants to be able to split with kids.
Great
and
right
he is
now.
in the best shape of his life, of his career so far. Like, he looks good. He's as shifty as ever. And guess what? He still has the power. So, like, they said, like, the weapons coming out of the backfield in the receiving game. I just don't know. I'm interested tonight to see how Seattle plays it. I'm interested.
I would like to see more 2 running back sets. I know it's hard given the personnel they have, because they have great they have 2 great receivers. I know Tim Patrick's making some noise. You got Laporta, but in Brock Wright. But I like to see some of the two running back sets and get those both guys out there, because they're both great receivers, and especially Jameer, who this year they're using a lot more. Like, that's a guy you got to watch out for now. And David, like you said, slimming down.
Do you think it's interesting, real quick, with Khalif Raymond? Like, Khalif Raymond, and it wasn't just like last year. Khalif had a big spot on this offense. Like, he was a really good, 3rd, 4th option for the Lions over the last 3 seasons. And then this year, obviously, you have Jameson Williams stepping up. But, like, all right, so even if that's the Josh Reynolds role, I pulled out the snap count earlier this week with Tim Patrick and Khalif. Tim Patrick had like 30 snaps. Khalif had like 5 offensive snaps.
Because they're looking for that type of a receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it.
He in week 1, he had 0 targets. Week 2, he had 4 targets, 3 catches for 27 yards. And then week 3, 0 targets. So, like, Khalif's role is dwindled down. And, like, guys, if you look at Khalif's just career in Detroit, 489 yards, 600 yards, 576 yards. And this year he has 27 through 3 games.
He's got a little bit of that juice to him. I'll say it. I've been skeptical about that was my one thing with him, just the injuries. But given the role he has, like, it's just like, it's perfect.
Tim or Khalif?
No, Tim.
Oh, yeah. I think it's perfect for him.
Tim it's in a perfect role. He's not gonna be heavily relied on, but when his number's called, dude makes plays.
Yes. Guys, maybe this is I'm slappy of, I don't know what this is.
It's okay. Just get it. Just say it.
Just the Tim Patrick thing. I know he's coming off 2 injuries. I think for him being in this offense, to where, like, in offenses before, he had to be, like, at times wide receiver 1 and go make plays.
Yeah.
At times wide receiver 2. He is wide receiver 3. He doesn't need to make those big plays. Like, you're not relying on him to get 100 yards and a touchdown. I think that's going to help him with the injuries. I think you get back to a little bit of old Tim Patrick, like, in this offense. Not, I'm saying, like, statistic wise, but the way he's able to play, like, how good he is on the football field.
I think his reliability, I want to see more, but it's trending that way.
Like, you're going to be able to trust him in the red zone, throw a shot up to him or make a play. I saw some highlights of him. I love going back and watching some guys that we have. Like, he can catch the ball and make a play and go some yards after catch.
He can run. He runs better routes than I anticipated. Not that I thought he was a bad route runner.
It's because the
watching him out
though.
there. Yeah, I mean, he looks definitely, for his size and his age. Not that he's old, but he's about to be 30. I think he might be at 30. But yeah, 6'4". I'm excited. I think this offense opportunity tonight with the injuries to bounce back. Calvin's out there. It'll be great. And I'm excited for these black uniforms. I've been asking for them for years, and I finally get to see it. Even the inactive graphic was black and blue. So I cannot wait to see these uniforms. It's going to be amazing. I do want to change some of the convo, and we'll get into no, go on.
Just the black uniforms.
Yeah, go on. And later, by the way, I saw a comment about Booner's bets. We'll get to Booner's bets later in the show.
Yeah.
So stick around, and he'll give out some
around 7:45, like 30 minutes or so. We'll hit those.
What do you think about the black unis?
Dude,
beautiful.
Growing up, those were like as I was getting older, when you start to remember football, and at least for me, I'm not the old. I'm still young. Those are just like iconic as a kid growing up watching the Detroit Lions. I know a lot of people are like, well, they lost in them 0-16.
Oh, they did.
Listen, yeah. I get that. I really don't care.
But they're sweet.
They're sick. And like for me, I cared growing up that they were 0-16, but I loved the Lions growing up. Like being able to watch it with family and people that I loved watching football with growing up, to be able to see just to be able to see those black uniforms. My whole life, I was like, I just want those back. Like, just bring them back. And I hope this isn't like a one-time thing. I hope it's like they keep them around for a few years, and it's like, don't get rid of these. These are your alternates going forward.
That's like what Dan say, you win the division, we'll bring them back.
That's what he said, and he did it. They won the division.
They weren't playing.
The craziest thing is that like the pictures that we always post, like one of the best pictures of all time is the black unis is with Kelvin, him and Roy Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And now tonight, Calvin's induction into the Pride of Lions, and they're rocking him tonight. I wonder if he asked for it. I'm interested to know. I wonder if he was like, "Hey, I would love you guys to do that on the same night."
I mean, it's I don't know. I think it's exciting. I wish, again, if you're going to the game, if you're somewhere tailgating, watching, appreciate you, have fun. It's going to be.
Yeah.
I know Lucas is down there, Mike's down there.
Go find them.
We'll get those guys. If you find them, they might give you a real American beer. They got some out there if you're 21, of course. But they'll be joining us for the watch party. I want to bring this up because we hinted at it earlier. Boone, Aiden Hutchinson, who he'll be matching up with tonight, backup.
Another
right tackle. I mean, and I know we mentioned it previously, when we kind of talk about this Aiden stuff, it's just something you just have to kind of mention it.
Yep.
But I don't give a damn. And I said this to you, when Aiden finishes this season and he has however many sacks, there won't be someone, there might be someone actually, in today's world, you never know, but someone that actually says, well, faced a couple backup right tackles. It's like you're going to just look at, or if he wins Defensive Player of the Year, well, he faced some backup right tackles. He's still going to have the Defensive Player Award in his house. So I don't really care too much. I mean, yeah, you could bring it up and whatever, but who cares? It's going to be a big game, I think, for Aiden again, because number one, they're going to need him like they always do, because Geno, with these weapons, you want to kind of cut that time down a little bit, that he has time to scan the field and find either JSN, DK, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant now a little bit, not too much involved, but you get the point. They got options. So again, I anticipate they're not going to be able to run the ball. So they're going to have the opportunity, Aleem, Aiden, DJ, the linebackers, and even Josh Paschal. And we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. But Aiden is going to have to go out there today and make some plays. And again, he has shown tremendous growth this season. We know what his work ethic is. We know what his motor is. You know what I'm finding out more about Aiden? He's a dog. But more than that, the pass rush moves. It's not just a spin move. He's got different moves. He can rush with power. He can rush with some finesse. It's going to be interesting. I think Aiden's going to cause some problems, and they're going to put Aiden wherever that tackle is, they're going to line Aiden up. I think he might already be on the right side. But what do you expect out of this defense tonight, specifically with Aiden in that matchup?
Aiden Hutchinson needs to go out there. If you're going up against a backup, you need to go out. He needs to go out there and dominate.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bottom line. Like the Geno Smith stuff we saw last year, you had one sack on Geno Smith. It was at the end of the game with Alex Anzalone, just a miracle play at the end of the game, and comes out of nowhere and gets a sack. You had no sacks essentially all game last year on Geno Smith. Threw all over you. It was a high-scoring game. Today, it's disrupt. You have a different defense than you have in the past. And Aiden Hutchinson, guys, breaking news with Aiden Hutchinson. Are you ready for this? The new leader for Defensive Player of the Year odds, Aiden Hutchinson at plus 290 over TJ Watt. TJ Watt is plus 330. Aiden Hutchinson is plus 290. So gosh. Detroit Lions star edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson is now the leader for the odds of Defensive Player of the Year. You go out there, that's without even playing tonight. You go out there and he goes and gets 2 more sacks tonight, or another sack and a half, or he goes out there, Jeff, and he gets a couple tipped passes or an interception or a forced fumble. Those just drastically move. Like, he is going to be a minus 100 favorite after tonight. He is the best defensive player in the NFL right now, Jeff. I've said it from the jump. I had people laugh at me in March saying this. He is your game changer. The only problem defensively, Jeff, that I will say this. The second best player on your defense is Brian Branch. With him being out tonight, that's where my worry goes a little bit. And because, too, it's in the secondary with you. The big matchup is the Tyler Lockett, the DK Metcalf, the JSN. And your second best player in your defense, Brian Branch, in the secondary, he's out. So, like, that's where it's like for Hutch, he's got to step up even more. You have to put more pressure on Geno Smith. You have to be that much better to help out guys like Brandon Joseph in the back. Because that's what's going to be. I'm interested to see a guy like Brandon Joseph go. And some of these safeties. That's, you know what, too?
And I'll say real quick,
Iffy Malfon.
it's a weird storyline. I know he was out there seeing if he can come back in a couple of weeks. Now he's on IR, so obviously it's more serious than we anticipated. But I will, and I don't know if Lions fans agree with me here. And I would say, especially what I've been seeing, I really like Brandon Joseph. Like, I think Brandon Joseph brings some interesting things to the table. I mean, he's more, I think, in my eyes, a free safety. So we'll see with how they kind of, figure that out. But Kirby is so good that it's like he just by himself is still raised the ceiling of your defense. Like just Kirby being out there, they could have CJ Moore. I don't really care. Whoever, and no offense to him, but you can have Kirby out there and he can still make plays. And that's why I think
it's a big game for Kirby has to have a big game.
Because you already know what's going to happen. I mean, we have the script. You have DK Metcalf, who has been heavily involved in what they're doing this year. Carlton Davis is going to be guarding DK Metcalf. At points, they're going to put a safety over the top. That's where DK, these big plays that could potentially happen. That's where a guy like Kirby comes in, gets hey, give me that. Get another interception. And so far, he's already, I think, second in the league in interceptions. Why not? Hey,
dude, he's like plus 200 to get an interception tonight.
And that is wild.
I got him twice this year. 3, by the way.
He's on pace for a career year. Oh, like well above
I think he's leading the NFL in interceptions, and he hasn't played yet this week. I mean, unless someone's passed him up this week. But Kirby's going to have a big game, though. He is going to, he's going to have a massive game.
And I think for this defense, having Anzalone back is so important. Yeah. Like, if you guys, man, we watched Anzalone just run around looking like a maniac. Thor, the Italian stallion, running around like a chicken with his head cut off, making tackles. Everywhere you look, dude, he's making the tackle.
By the way,
he's good. I think Anzalone, another guy tonight, is going to make a lot of plays.
One of my friends I went to college with, Italian, from Sicily or over that area.
Mm-hmm.
Not long lost cousins, but cousins with Alex Anzalone.
Like closer,
shocking.
or are we talking like ancestry.com?
Maybe like 2 or 3 away. No, he was like
they're familiar.
He was like, I've been in like family group chats with Alex Anzalone, like in like Facebook.
Oh,
I'm like, dude,
tell him he's got an absolute animal as a cousin.
Shout out Sebastian. Yeah, no, I was just like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Anzalone, dude, he plays. He is like the epitome of what this team's about. Like, that's why I'm excited to have him back. I think they missed him last week. Even though the defense played really well, it's probably more impressive that they played well without him.
The leadership. The leadership with Alex Anzalone.
So important.
He's so big. And I love Jack Campbell, and I think Jack Campbell's going to be near green dot at some point in his career, and he's going to be the leader there. But right now, it's Alex Anzalone, and I give Klotz all the credit in the world for being like, hey, no, Anzo is that guy on this team. And I think it's because he's had the years and the experience, and he's a vet, and he knows what it takes to win. And Jack's still kind of learning all that. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just like you have a guy with that much experience. Why would you want to go away from that? So I think Anzo has a big game today. I'm excited to see Anzo. Maybe we take his tackles over.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we take his tackles over, Juicy J. Hey, cheers to that. Cheers to Anzo. Real American beer, baby.
Cheers, baby. Let's go. Yeah, I think the tackle's definitely on the thread of going over. I think that's definitely a safe bet there. Let's see. Tyler says Alex Anzalone gets a ton of head and shoulders NIL money. Dude has a beautiful, beautiful hair. Excited to have him back. I think this defense tonight, and we'll kind of get to what we expect defensively. I expect them to completely stop the run. And now, Kenneth Walker, I don't know what his line's at the top of my head, probably somewhere in the 40s or 50s. I think you're taking the under if you're betting on that. Absolutely. I don't think Kenneth Walker clears 50 yards today. I think they struggle to run the ball. Zach Charbonnet's not a bad back either, but I just don't see them running the ball successfully. It's just impossible to me. And based off that, Gino's going to have to throw 30-plus times. It's already written. He's going to throw the ball 30-plus times. And that's going to give this defense opportunities. Anzalone interception, Kirby interception, maybe Carlton gets one. Maybe Terrion testing the rookie. I think making plays, that secondary tonight is going to be very important. And the pass rush.
Yeah, I mean,
pass rush for sure.
I'm trying to look last year. They went on that losing streak towards the end of the year where they lost about 4 of their last 6 games around there. And just looking at what Gino did. And I mean, he wasn't playing terrible, but I think it's just more so like these are high scoring games. Like Gino, they put numbers up. So I do think tonight, just looking like, hey, if you want to beat the Seattle Seahawks team, you're going to have to put some points up. Like that's what it is. I think you're gonna have to score. But I'm just trying to see, like with Geno Smith, you have to find a way to put pressure on him, make him make this like bad decisions. Because if he's comfortable, Geno Smith is a hell of a quarterback in the league. Like he is a good quarterback. He doesn't get that much credit, but if he has time and he's able to make the right plays, especially like the biggest thing too with that, Jeff, is that the receivers that they have, they're going to create separation at some point. Like DK Metcalf is going to find a way to get open. You could have the best corner in the league. DK Metcalf will DK Metcalf at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like he will have that at the end of the day. And same with Tyler Lockett. He will create separation. So like those guys will do that. We just like, you have to get the pressure. You have to get to Geno.
Yeah, because the longer you give DK Metcalf and Geno Smith, the more easy or the more efficient their connection will be. I promise you. Like DK is already a great player. And he's already hard enough to stop just running straight. But he does got a little bit of route running to him that's a little slept on. I think he's more of a complete receiver than people give him credit for. He's got great hands. He's a high football IQ. I think he's going to be a guy that tonight could absolutely make or break the game for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, another guy, one they got, the JSN versus Amik Robertson matchup, which I will say this. I like Amik. I think Amik's a good player, and I think he's someone that the Lions, thank gosh, they signed because he's been solid. You haven't heard a lot about him, which is exactly what you expect out of guys that are doing their job. You don't hear a lot about Amik, and he's great against the run. And that's another thing. Some of these corners they got and safeties, obviously, are great against the run as well. They're very versatile. And Amik Robertson, that guy. JSN, interesting matchup. JSN, very, very good player. We know what he was at Ohio State. But he's kind of filling, in my opinion, that Tyler Lockett role in which the Lions saw a lot of last year or the year they faced them. Was it last year they lost to the Seahawks? Yeah, 2023. I think he's filling a lot of that void. Tyler's getting a little older. He's still capable. It's probably still dangerous, but JSN's very good. And I think the matchup you'll see tonight against Amik Robertson, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know what his line set at for JSN, but he's a problem.
Yeah,
he just has been this year. I think he had 10 catches over 100 yards against, I think somebody. Might have been the Patriots. I have to double check that. But he had a big game.
This wide receiver core is a problem. I do think, like, I'm confident that Carlton at times, Terrion, I love to see Terrion too. Like, he just keeps getting challenged. Like, things just keep coming around for Terrion where it's like he has to get better. He has to go out there and produce. He can't just sit, like, it's the NFL now, and he keeps getting better and better. Like, you've seen his progression already from week 1, week 2 to week 3. Like, we've drafted people here in Detroit, not going to say any names. I'm sure you all in the chat are able to figure out who I'm talking about, who just never could get better. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, I understand, Jeff, if you get drafted in the first round and you struggle your first couple games, it's the NFL. You're going to get it. But week 1, week 2 to week 3, like, Terrion's already progressed and gotten that much better. Like, you could see it on the field. Like, he is fixing mistakes. The one thing Dan says all the time, too, about Terrion Arnold is, like the goldfish memory. Like, he just moves on. And, like, for a rookie to have that, especially at the corner position in the NFL, like, you do not see that a lot. You usually see guys that are getting frustrated. And he goes up to Carlton Davis sometimes, and he's like, hey, next play, let's go get the job done. So, like, that's where I'm confident. This is one of the better receiving corps probably in the NFL.
Yeah. You're no kidding.
So I'm confident. The only thing that kills me is the Brian Branch injury. Like, that is your, and I know, I get the gear Kirby's having.
No, but you're right.
Brian Branch is the second best player besides Aiden Hutchinson. Yes, on that team. Yes. He is the second best defensive player on this football team. And that's your second. That's the eyes in your secondary. Right. He is everywhere. So, like, that's where it's like, if you want to look at the defense and circle something, I don't care about the Davenport thing this week. I don't care about any of that. This Brian Branch injury. Like, that's going to be big. Well,
I think it's a sickness. I could be wrong.
Yeah, the sickness. Yeah, he is sick. Sorry,
not injury.
On the injury report,
yes, inactive. Yeah, basically,
he must be like.
You see, now we're in a sensitive time, but when you say injury report, inactive.
He is inactive.
You get me all.
We
have enough we're dealing with now.
He's on the injury report. Okay, he's on the injury report.
Just the way you say it, I don't like your tone. I get all shook about it.
He is on the injury report, though.
Yeah, that's fair. You are right, though. Even if they didn't, let's say they had Branch, they didn't have Kirby, I'd still be worried. I mean, we talked about they're one of the best safety duos in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, you could argue the best. I think Atlanta has the other one, but these two are special. They perfectly complement each other, and it's not like you miss Kirby. You're like, well, Brian can fill that. Yeah, but they have different skill sets. Kirby, ball hawk, and he's a great tackler, hard hitter. And then Brian's kind of the do-it-all guy, great cover skills. Like they're very different, but it's important. I see Tommy said something here. Shout out to you, Tommy, my guy. He says Terry on first interception tonight. Ooh, like test him a little bit. I've been saying that on these pregame shows, and I've yet to be right. I mean, I right in terms of it, them targeting him, but my intent is there. I'm trying. They're going to target Jerry on. He's going to get an interception. It hasn't happened yet, but I promise you, they're going to keep testing the rookie. They know with these DPI calls, they're going to be like, all right, we're going to throw at you, and he'll probably be covering Tyler Lockett. He'll probably be covering DK a little bit. I can see it. I can see a Terran Arnold interception. Way to start it on a big game with Calvin there. Get your first one. Let's see.
But Terran, I've been 3 for 3 on interceptions. Not to toot my own horn.
Yeah, but you can't. That means you can't make a prediction tonight.
I don't know if I'm going to tonight.
You're perfect, dude.
I've thought about it. I don't know if I think someone's going to get one tonight. I would love a turnover. Love one. Would love one. I just don't know who it's going to be with. No Brian Branch. Like typically you could say, okay, Kirby. Kirby's going to have a big role. He's going to have a big role tonight, and I'm interested to see how that works out. I don't want to sit here and force a play that, I'm not doing that.
No, if you're perfect, don't do that.
Hey, you guys have been saying Terrion Arnold interception.
I mean, it's one of those things, Boone, where if you say something enough and you're wrong about it, just keep saying it.
It's got to happen.
Eventually, you'll be right.
It's got to happen.
Like eventually, I'm going to say it, and it's going to happen. That's kind of where I'm coming from here. Mark says Geno Smith over rushing yards. That's another thing. They did very well. I mean, Kyler Murray led the team in rushing, which is honestly, Baker led the team in rushing, didn't he? When they faced the Bucs,
he did.
So what's been going on with the Lions? Make your quarterback lead your team in rushing, which against most quarterbacks is a great thing. I mean, unless you're like Lamar Jackson, even Kyler, he had like 40 yards. They limited him a little bit. So it'll be great. Let's see. Military Outlaw. He says, let's go at the game tonight. These unis look so damn good in person. We'll have fun at the game, my man. And that is awesome. I'm purchasing a black jersey.
I would love a black one.
They're beautiful. The new unis in general are beautiful. Those black ones are.
Do they sell Dan Campbell black jerseys? I would love to do a Kool-Aid video on one.
You know what?
I would love to do a Kool-Aid video on one.
That is fucking genius.
Well, do you remember a couple months ago when they first released them, I was working downtown and I had got an alert on Twitter that they were selling limited Dan Campbell ones in Ford Field. And this was like in the off season. So like people could drive to Ford Field and just go in and get it at their shop in Ford Field. And it was like a limited time only. I don't know if they ended up re-releasing them and putting some more out. I would love one. A Dan Campbell. I've always wanted a Dan Campbell jersey.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, when like a year ago, I was like looking on like eBay for Dan Campbell jerseys. Now that's like, why not just get one of these new ones, dude? I was trying everything.
All right, let's. We got a couple minutes here, Boone. Let's get to those bets, and then we'll get to score predictions because you can kind of. I mean, you've been doing well. I have not. Don't listen to me. Listen to this guy because this guy takes care of you. Don't listen to me. Last week on the watch party, which is why you guys have to tune in. For those who've never tuned in to a watch party,
oh my God!
If you're watching the game at home and you want to watch it with the fellas, we're gonna have a live scoreboard. We're gonna debut it tonight on the show. Hang out with us. React to the game. We're gonna have money on the line. Last week I lost a touchdown parlay bet with like 4 different games. Last one I missed was Jordan Mason. Fuck that guy. But you know what? Tonight's gonna be a lot of fun. So tune into the watch party. Boom. What do you got for us today? What are you cooking up?
All right, I have a few things here, and I want to pull this up. I want to make sure I get the people right. I do want to make sure I get the people right. I wish to. Maybe someone knows where I would like to bet on Aiden Hutchinson 2 sacks tonight. I really.
Is that just that you didn't mention that at all today? That just hit you?
Yeah, I would like to. I don't know
from the ether or so like from the universe. You just got
because on here where I'm at, it's 1 sack, and they have 1 interception and 2 interceptions. They don't have 2 sacks. How is that not a thing?
They got to make it for Aiden.
Yeah.
Get him. I don't hate the 2 sacks. I mean I really don't.
It's an interesting.
I can see that. I see some people. I mean, even Wilson, Hutch pick 6 tonight. Imagine Hutch. He's going to get a pick one of these days. I mean, he just is. We know that.
He will. I would love to. A Hutch pick 6 would be even.
That's defensive player of the year.
Oh my gosh!
Right there, he locked it up through 4 weeks.
Last week, I don't remember if you saw the play. I think it was last week or it was the week before with Baker. They were backed up in almost in the end zone, and he just jumped up, and the ball just went right between his hands.
He's gonna get.
And he's you could tell he's like, I want one. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I want one. All right, let's do this. Let's hit the plays here, Jeff, real quick. I'm just looking up for a couple more things. I've been waiting for some lines to come out. Like, okay, yeah, actually, I love this. What do you want to do first? Do you want to do parlay? We'll do the legacy player last.
Save the parlay. Well, in one of your singles and parlay.
Let me do some singles here. I'll do a couple singles. First single. This is the first one I'm going to do. With the score prediction, I gave my score prediction out the other day, and I gave this play out week 1 and week 2, and it didn't hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, last week I sat there and I was like, I'm not doing it again to the people. I don't want to do it to the people. But then I've turned my head a little bit. One of my first single play for today, Detroit Lions team total. Team total. I think the Detroit Lions score over to around 27 points. The team total is at 25.5. And I know they've been sitting around 20, 21, 22. That's been their kind of range so far. So 25.5 for this. Guys, this Detroit Lions offense is still a top 5 offense in the NFL. Maybe not statistically, but I'm talking about on paper and with Ben Johnson. They just haven't gotten it going yet. And I know there's Mike McDonald. I get that.
Right.
Cool. Awesome. This offense, Monday Night Football at home, they're going to find a way to get going. And I don't see a way that they don't get going. Detroit Lions team total over 25.5. I think they score more than that on my score prediction. So I am rolling with that. Next one here I have, this has actually gone down. So you can go get it right now. It's a touchdown score. I have another one a little bit later. Actually, don't do this often. I have 3 touchdown scores today.
You do? 3?
And I think I know all 3 of them.
Oh my God. Who are the
I'm going to save the one because I do the legacy player, which if you guys don't know, I think we're 3-0 now.
Yeah, you've been cooking.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're 3-0 now.
Yep. I mean, you had so game 1.
Who did I have last week? Why am I drawing a blank?
Sam Laporta.
I don't think we're 3-0. I think we're 2-1. I don't think
he hit the over though.
Did he hit his line?
Yeah.
I can't remember. 3-0.
Yeah,
but that was the greatest to do it.
That was the thing. He left with injury, but you're like, he hit his line.
Hit his line.
So
I guess I'm 3-0. Real time there.
Yeah.
So I have a legacy player tonight, but the first one I have, David Montgomery's line's gone down. It was at like minus 130, 140. It's at minus 120 right now. That's a great line to get it at. I might put a little bit extra on that today. I think he gets a touchdown. Another one I think that gets in the end zone today, someone who struggled last week, only had 19 yards, but the first 2 weeks went off, Jameson Williams. I think Jeff. I truly do.
I like that.
He's sitting there at plus 240. I think there's going to be a big play. I think at a couple times Ben's going to try and take a shot. If not, an end around. I think JMO gets in the end zone today. So DeMont and that Jameson Williams, these are straight plays, by the way, people. I think they both get in the end zone today. Let me see. I'm going to let me pull the rest up here. Another one. Let's stick with JMO here. JMO over 44.5 yards. I think he gets 3 catches. He could do it in 1. Give me 44.5 for JMO. Oh my gosh. I actually love that. I love that.
Yeah, hey, I'm with you. I mean, they're going to learn eventually that line's a little.
I love that play. That's my 4 straight bets. JMO touchdown, JMO yards over 44.5. David Montgomery anytime touchdown and Detroit Lions over 25.5. Maybe I'll get a defensive one here for you guys. I don't have one. I have those 4 plays. Didn't have a defensive one. What about a sack?
Oh, wait, you can't. What about a sack? Okay, hold on.
Booner's lay of the day.
Yep, let's go
to the Booner's lay of the day. Plus 626, guys. It is a 5-leg parlay. We haven't hit the parlay yet this year. Last year, we hit it like 10 times. We made so much money on the parlays last year. We have yet to hit one. 3 weeks in, this Lions offense has been brutal trying to bet on. I don't know if there's people out there that bet on the Lions. It has been absolutely brutal trying to figure out what's going on and who's going to hit these props. First prop here. First prop. Jahmyr Gibbs over 60 all-purpose yards.
Love it.
It's 60 plus. It's not over 60. It is 60 on the dot and up. All-purpose yards, rushing and receiving. He hits that. He's hit it all year so far. David Montgomery, the second play. David Montgomery, 50 total rushing yards or more. So we got Jahmyr Gibbs, 60 all-purpose. David Montgomery, 50 rushing. Third one. This is a good one. Jameson Williams, just 25 yards.
He can do it.
Just 25 yards. Fourth one. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 50 yards. I like that. Do you like that?
Yeah, he can get 50.
50. So far we have
Even
Jahmyr
against
Gibbs.
Witherspoon, he can do that.
I think he can. We have Jahmyr Gibbs, 60 all-purpose. David Montgomery, 50 rushing. JMO is 25-plus yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 50 yards. Last one, I don't listen.
Oh, here we go.
I tell the people how it is.
You do.
Last year, I hit a lot of parlays. A lot.
Yep.
This year, I'm 0-3 on my parlays. Does never happen. Will never happen.
But the offense is terrible.
And yeah, we're 3 units.
So-
We're 3 units down. We were 3 units down. We hit this. We're 3 units up all of a sudden on the year. So we're going to be just fine. I did this sometimes last year because you can know the way a game's going to go. And I think the Detroit Lions are going to be up in the second half. The Seattle Seahawks are going to have to be passing the ball. Gino's going to have to get it to his best target. I think his best target is DK Metcalf. I added into my play DK Metcalf 50 yards.
Oh,
That
you
is
have a
it.
big thing about adding opponents.
That is it, guys. It has nothing to do with me thinking he's going to torch the Lions.
No, you know
I
what?
think
Just
they're
say it,
going-
dude.
I think
Fuck.
The
He's going to
Detroit.
get 50 yards.
You
kidding
I
me?
think we're smart. When I hand out plays, I'm smart. The Detroit Lions are going to be up in this football game in the second half. They are going to be coming back. They're going to have to
you
try.
just can't be biased. You're not biased.
Not biased at all.
Hey,
So
Speaking facts.
this is not a crazy parlay. Tyler Chavez said a lot of parlays today. The only parlay that matters, the only good parlay is my parlay, the Booner's lay of the day. Last year, we hit it like 10 plus times. Play this parlay. I promise you. Well, I don't promise. I don't want to do that. Not free money, but you know what I mean. Again, I'll go over it again. DK Metcalf, 50 yards. David Montgomery, 50 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 60 all-purpose. JMO, 25. And Amon-Ra, 50. That is plus 626. Make sure you guys go get that in right now.
This is the much anticipated
This
legacy player. Booner's legacy player of the game. Who's the legacy player?
This
Who is it?
is who everyone's wants
3 for
to see.
3. Can he be 4 for 4?
This player, let me tell you what. Let me take a drink here real quick.
Who is he?
Legacy
and
the
comment,
legacy player of the game brought to you by Real American Beer. Let me take a drink.
comment in the chat. Who should it be? Who should it
Start
be?
dropping who you think it is.
I mean,
Everyone keeps
it's
correcting
gotta
me
be-
saying
it's-
Montgomery. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Legacy player. Guys, this is one of the best players in his position in the NFL.
Oh, wait. Going with the wide receiver. You got Amon-Ra?
Listen, hear me out, Jeff.
Hold on.
He has had 3 straight good games. Even when you're like, oh, man, that guy played bad. Still produces.
Wait.
One of the easiest bets of the night. I've placed this bet the last 3 games. It has hit every single time. Every time. Without a doubt. If you're not putting this bet on tonight, and you know what I want people to do? This is what I want people to do. Do me a favor. Because I know a lot of people are going to put this bet on.
Oh, Michael.
Screenshot it. Screenshot the bet and tag me on Twitter. Hashtag RAB, Real American Beer. The legacy player of the game tonight. Jahmyr Gibbs, baby.
Oh,
Give me the running back.
gosh.
Give me the running back,
Yeah,
Jahmyr
that's fair.
Gibbs. He is going to have, guys, you remember last year, Monday Night Football, Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Raiders. They are without 3 of their best defensive linemen. What you do tonight is you let Jahmyr Gibbs off the leash. Let that man go out there and play football. I don't care if it's in the pass game, in the rush game. Jahmyr Gibbs, I have him over 77.5 all-purpose yards. Guys,
Ooh.
77.5 all-purpose yards is his line. That is disrespectful. You guys want me to show you what he's done the last couple weeks? Let me pull it up for you real quick. Make sure. Listen, I'm not kidding. Go put this bet in right now and go tag me on Twitter. Screenshot it, hashtag RAP. I want to see it right now. Everyone should go do this. Last week, 83 rushing yards, 20 total yards, 103 total yards. Week 2, let me do the math here. I'm not good with math in my head. 84 plus 22. What is that? 106. 40 plus 34. Week 1, 74. Maybe he didn't hit it week 1, but guess what? He didn't have the best week 1. He's only getting better and better and better. And he's almost plus money for a touchdown. So go get him as a touchdown as well. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to hit his lines tonight, and they are going to rely on David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs to go out there and play a good football game. I love this play. The sports books are disrespecting this man right now. You go out there, everyone in Detroit should have a bet on Jahmyr Gibbs tonight. Go screenshot it and send it to me.
I mean, Boone, he's had 100 all-purpose yards the last 2 games, like you mentioned. Love it. And that Michael Lucci's did put in there. Sam Laporte had 36 yards. He might not have hit that line.
I don't care if I'm 2-1. We're going 3-1, Michael.
What was your record last year?
14-3.
That's pretty good.
14-3 last
for picking
year.
a legacy player, that's pretty
One player a week, 14-3. So no, go put that in right now. Purple Prince. I say I do straight plays. I have 2 separate straight plays. If you want to parlay it with the touchdown, go ahead and do that. To each your, make sure you screenshot.
Now, Purple Prince.
Tag me in crunch time.
I do that.
Hashtag RAB.
Now, Purple Prince, learn a lesson from me. I'm a little greedy with these bets. All right, Booner will give me a bet. So Jeff, take these 4 legs. I'll say, what about throw this 5th leg on there? All right, how about I throw a TD on there? And the TD won't hit and the other 4 do. So you do it at your own. Maybe it does and Booner's losing. Who knows? But yeah, I tend to do that a lot. Booner always gets at. He's always like, what are you doing? Why add another leg?
I try to help.
He's like, why? I just, I like seeing the odds go up. It's gambling. That's why it's a hell of a business. All right, let's get to score predictions. Good shit, Boone. And people, if anyone needs rewind, take any of those single plays or the parlay or the legacy player. For my score prediction, it's actually different than it was Friday because a lot more injuries have came out. So I kind of adjusted with the injuries. I think the Seahawks missing 3 guys on their defensive line has to change a little bit of the score. Like, I'm thinking it's going to be a low defensive game. I respect the Seahawks secondary. I respect the head coach. Very smart. One of the best defensive minds. But, man, you can't say that 3 guys out on their defensive line won't hurt them. Yeah. I think the Lions will control this game, control time of possession, run the ball. And again, Jameer David are going to have a big game. We know that. And I think the Seahawks are going to have a hard time. They're going to wear this defense out. Gino's going to they're going to put the game on his arm. Yep. And there's some potential turnovers coming there. I think the Lions win the turnover battle. I think they control this game. And I think they come out victorious. I think they win 27-20. They beat the Seahawks. They won by a touchdown. They cover that. What's the team total you said?
25.5.
So they covered that over on the team total.
I
had it at 24. I'm going to bump it a little higher, give them another field goal. I don't know. Maybe it should be a touchdown. I was contemplating 30, so I'll meet in the middle. I'll go 27-20. Lions win by a score, and that touchdown by the Seahawks comes late. Like you said, Gino running down the field. They score 1 late, and the Lions get out of there with a win.
Okay. I love that. So you're taking my my team total.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Okay, love it. Listen. This is what the game's going to be interesting to me. Do you think, real quick, Lions defense top 10 in the NFL by the end of the year? They already are, but do they stay consistent?
They're trending that way. Yeah, I think they are.
Like if you had to put a bet on right now, would you say AG keeps them at a top 10, even with some injuries and things?
Yeah, you know what? I will say that. I think Jack and Terrion only get better. And
what about the defensive line?
I think
talk about that.
I will say the big concern for me is who replaces Davenport. Josh, I think this is a big game for him. My confidence level, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not super high. I think Josh and I'm a huge Josh guy. Been a Josh guy. I think where I'm at now is like Josh is solid, but do I expect Josh to get a sack and a half today? Absolutely not. I think he's just going to be good against the run. Josh. If he does, we will break it all down, but that's where I'm at with it.
Do you remember?
I think they'll be top 10. Yeah,
the AG thing. AG said, hey, like he stepped up to the podium this week. First thing he says, Josh, no one asked him a question. Started talking about the game. One of the first things he talks about, he goes, Josh Pascal has to step up this week. Davenport's down, Josh Pascal, next man up. It's one of those things, Jeff. I said it this week. They're going to learn a lot about Josh Pascal today, and they're going to find out, and everyone watching, you're going to find out if they need to go out and get a legit edge, like another replacement. Like you're going to find that out.
I mean,
you're going to know.
I would like to think I know the answer, but maybe Josh comes out and goes out and sack and a half.
I would love for them to go out and get an edge, but like I think that's what they're sitting back being like. Because why else would AG step up to the podium and just be like,
well, they have confidence.
Josh Pascal, we need to see what he needs.
I mean, AG is that type to do that. He calls him out. Like, you're right. He's like the spotlight's on him this week.
No one asked him a question. He just said Josh Pascal.
Yeah. I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right. Didn't mention Houston that much.
He what?
He didn't really mention Houston that much. I don't know what's going on.
James Houston. Dan Campbell gets asked about James Houston, and they're like, hey, James Houston's playing tonight. He's not on the report.
Maybe he can come out there and get. I don't know. I hope so. I really do. You give out your score prediction?
No, forgot.
All right,
let me get you. So tonight, this is what's going to happen, guys. I think it's going to be a really good football game. And I said it at the beginning of the show, and I think Detroit Lions fans need to start wrapping your head around something real quick. This is the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
These games are going to be tough. And just because, the team's not going out there and Jared Goff's not playing MVP football and some of the defense, the secondary at times, some people might struggle. Listen, as long as you squeak by with the win, that's all that matters. I know we want to be perfect. We want to be the best team in the NFL. You want to go out there and win every game by 40 points. I get that. I get it. It's not realistic. So I think today, it's a close football game at home. We've seen what the games are like in Detroit, and we've seen them what they're like versus Seattle. I think, Jeff, 27 Detroit Lions, 24 Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, so
I think it's a 3-point game. They probably don't cover. Maybe they do. I would love for it. Guess what? You guys know me. I'm going to drink this Kool-Aid one way or another tonight. The Lions are winning the football game. The thing is, what's the margin look like? A win's a win. Who cares? We move on. And what's the saying?
Onward and
upward.
You get the point.
Upward and onward, or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
That's all it is. I think they're going to win this football
Yeah.
game. I just think it's going to be maybe a 3-point game. Lions defense gets to stop Detroit Lions offense. Jared Goff kneeing the ball. The whole crowd's into it. I'm interested to see the crowd. Are they doing like a blackout crowd? Like everyone wear black? That would be sick.
I don't know. That'd be sweet if they had like shirts already laid out.
I think they've done that, and they have the bracelets too.
Oh,
Dude,
that would be badass.
imagine if they just have all black shirts, the black unis.
It's a funeral. I mean, it's a funeral.
And Kelvin Johnson's induction, like that's
play some Eminem. Before
what
the
if he
game.
shows up? Big
Eminem's
Sean shows up. Oh my, he's in town this week.
I just want to see a Panay pregame speech.
I'm sure they have it out already.
I need to see the Panay.
Hold on, I want to see if it's out. Maybe we can play it for the people. 1 minute ago.
It's already out.
1 minute ago.
Come on, how did I know that? It's like, you already know it's coming.
Let's play it for the people.
Steve said, giving LED bracelets, no shirts. Hey, it's okay. Let's play it.
You want to put that up?
Yeah, throw it up. Yeah, that's cute.
We can't hear it, but you guys can hear it. If you guys can't hear, I turned it all the way up. Let us know.
Opportunity of a lifetime. Ever since you was a little kid, you waited for this moment. Hey, we this go all day. Put your body on the line for each and one of your brothers today. We running through a mother greatest day. You hear me? That's the we gonna be on.
Oh my God.
Tell me you don't want to run through a wall for Penn School.
Feel me? 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I would do anything for Penn Sewell.
Okay. Well,
hey, Booner,
hold on.
Jump off that boat and go rescue that. I'm off. I'm going.
Yeah, well,
you take it that way. I take it as leadership.
You be a sex slave for Penn Sewell.
I take it as leadership. Come on, you don't know. No need to take it that way.
No, you're right.
I'm thinking football. That's unbelievable.
Hold on. You see in about 10 minutes. Be there for the watch party.
8:10. We'll be live.
It's already up, by the way. It's already scheduled. So
wait!
Don't
end the show yet. Hold on. I'm gonna make it to where it just shoots people over.
That's fine. That's
talk
fair.
for 10 more minutes, or no, not 10 more minutes, but just talk.
Nick W said, "Did he party if Panay told you to?"
No, come on now. We're talking football here. Don't get into Jeff's mind. What are we doing here?
Oh, I think Will Levis stinks. That's what people are talking about. I don't know. I haven't watched the other game. We've been focused just on covering this one. But and by the way, I want to say 2 Monday Night Football games stinks.
I don't care about the other.
Should never be a thing. Should never be a thing. By the way, Will Levis, he's not even in the game. Mason Rudolph is.
Don't care about this other game.
So yeah, that's your guy, Will Levis. All right, we'll get out of here.
Hey, wait! Shout out Real American Beer.
Big shout out to the sponsor of our Sunday programming of Crunch Time Sports.
New sponsor.
Yes, all right, and by the way, shout out to the mods for getting rid of these guys spamming in the chat. But be there for the watch party. We'll see you guys in about 10 minutes.
Love you guys. See you soon.